In Mexico, they have 3-liter Pepsi. Or
Three?
So you could do like Scotch and Pepsi.
Is that a
like
thing?
a 6-liter thing.
Scotch and Pepsi?
I don't know. Yeah.
Well, you like
Scotch and Coke.
Sure. Yeah, 7-Up and vodkas. I think that's a ghetto blaster.
You know what's playing on this Ghetto Blaster right now? The Tribute Games podcast.
Yeah, it's
The Tribute Games podcast is a podcast made behind the scenes at the Tribute Games here in Montreal. It's a small video game studio, indie studio, where we make games. So this podcast is pretty much eavesdropping on us as we work or stop working to record this. I'm Yannick Belzil. I'm a writer for Tribute Games, and I'm also the social media person. To my left,
Dom 2D, game designer.
You sound surprised coming.
yeah. Justin, game design and animation.
Stefan, artist.
Jean-François, programmer and co-founder.
Andy, programmer.
and this little fellow right here, this little aluminum fellow right here.
Mr. Pabst.
It's another After Dark episode. Because
It's always after dark. It's winter in Montreal.
yeah. It's winter in Montreal, so it's always after dark. Guys, let's jump into the development corner. What's happening with you guys this week on your games and projects?
All right. Things are going well. I'm actually doing animations right now. Mm-hmm. Back on animations. Yeah. But the fun thing is that I'm animating the backgrounds that Steph did. So it's really, really fun. The background.
Bringing sweet life
Well, no,
to my frigid art.
No, they're great, and that's the fun part. Is when you do animation from somebody else's work, it's like you really want to live up to like the high bar. So,
Do you feel you have so far?
no,
No, okay.
no, but I mean, I'm trying. That's the
Of course
thing.
you have.
No, they're fine. It's that's the fun part. So that's what I've been up to. John's going gangbusters with the boss programming. By leaps and bounds, you know, the game's really taking shape.
And we have it's a first for us. We've made our own media calendar and
Yes.
publicity calendar.
Ooh.
So now we will not reveal the date for Curses and Chaos, and
Because it wasn't good. The calendar didn't work.
it wasn't work, but later on it was fixed. So right now it's exciting because we actually have a date. We know when it's coming out. So things are becoming much more tangible, and we know when we roll out different promo stuff and when the first trailers are going to come out, and where you'll be able to physically play Curses and Chaos eventually.
Yeah, I think it's still early. Like it's an estimated.
It's an
Like, hopefully,
experiment.
we'll be able to release it on that day. But yeah,
That's why I don't mention any actual dates. I'm just saying that we're writing them down somewhere in the document.
But we were pretty ambitious with our early fall release, but we've fallen behind. So, be patient, but it's all worth it. Trust me, the game's coming along great.
Yes, and you're listening to this on a Friday, and there's a brand new Curses and Chaos page on Facebook right now, so you can go check that out. Facebook.com/Curses and Chaos. And that's what's happening on the Curses and Chaos front. Stefan is doing illustrations for it.
Yep.
They're looking
Still
good.
Doing promo art because I finished everything else. So and then soon I'll be switching to Dom's project. You're lucky the art for Curses and Chaos looks really good because I'd be really pissed otherwise. I want you to do more art for me. Yeah.
Yeah, that was actually a bit heartbreaking because every time I look over, I can see Steph just running magic. And I looked over and I saw something that wasn't Curses and Chaos. And I was like, what's that? He's like, oh, that's dumb stuff. And I'm like, it's none of your business. Pretty much. No, it's like you really feel like things are coming to a close. So there's a little bit of bittersweet in it. But that's fun.
What are we going to do when the door is closed on Curses and Chaos? Are we going to have a party? Or are we going to burn something? Or are we going
gotta do something.
Yeah, we're going to have a lunch party for sure.
lunch party?
lunch.
Come on, we do lunch parties every day. But I mean, there's still plenty to do. So
Yeah, for sure.
that door is still wide open.
Oh, yeah.
Even the Mercenary King's door isn't fully closed. So
This is a draft.
Lots of drafts in the Tribute House, but we hope to fix all of that in 2015.
We'll celebrate going gold on both games at once. Mercenary Kings and Curses and Chaos.
Yeah.
But no, it's fun. It was fun seeing like things taking shape on your game there, Dom.
Yeah, I'm so excited. Like I've been doing some UI, and Stefan has been thinking about the art a little bit. He's not doing anything, but like he did a gray mock-up of just a screen without anything in it, and it was pretty exciting. we figured out the resolution.
Yeah, we decided something. Which is,
So what
That's
does
the
that
first
mean
step.
though for someone you're figuring out the resolution of the game? Like how does that impact the game itself?
Well, if it's not the right resolution, it'll look like junk on certain devices. So that's part of the problem, and we need to, I guess, resolve the resolution so you can get enough stuff on screen at once.
because the game we're making will probably have a lot of stuff on screen. It needs to be clear. It needs to be obvious how the mechanics work with the visuals. So it will probably go with more pixels on screen than a game like Curses and Chaos, which is like single screen and the characters are pretty big on screen. There's not a lot of room. That's how it works. Like that's how the problem works. It needs to be like condensed. And all that. Our game is more expensive. More you need more room for movement. So.
Yeah, it's more about navigation.
Yeah.
And feeling quick and swift. So it's even have more space than in Merkings.
Yeah.
Because Merkings in the end kind of felt a bit cramped.
Yeah. So we're
But
pretty much going
you
towards the
weren't
size.
really moving that much in the screen, so it didn't really matter that much. But
It felt right for Merkings, just like it feels right for Curses, but we need way more space for this untitled game.
Well,
You're just teasing.
I'm just teasing. But I'm looking forward to the day we have an actual title to give.
Yeah. How about you, Andy? Because you're working on Dom's game. So what are you working on in conjunction to what they've all mentioned?
We'll have to bleep out everything he does, but
Yeah, no. I guess I've just kind of been working on supporting our prototype, kind of getting different systems that we want in place, like, for instance, like shops. And
there's
like,
going to be a
item
shop in the
placement.
game, exclusive on the podcast. There's a shop. No, the roguelikes feature that we want to kind of put some focus on in production time, I guess.
Oh, so it's a
Yeah.
roguelike.
It's kind of a roguelike. We'll see.
You mean the game genre, not the popular Southern X-Men,
No.
not the Southern Belle Rogue.
It has some roguelike elements in it. That's it. That's all I have to say.
Alright, well I think we can conclude this episode.
Yeah. It's, thanks for being here. But before we're going out, we have a bunch of questions this week. We asked your questions on Twitter, and you have given us questions, so we'll give you answers. It's how it works.
yeah, people were really nice this week. They had a lot of questions, so this should be fun.
Our best bud, Hunter Trammell, is back as well. So
Yeah, we love
Hunter Trammell, a young man with the video games on his mind, and we salute him. Someone asked, Dan Daimer, at Daimer, asks us, given that Montreal is bilingual, do you speak English 100% of the time, or is that just to make the podcast accessible? I think he's noticing the accents in amongst us. Maybe there's a bit of accenting going on. We're bilingual, so sometimes we speak French, sometimes we speak English, and that's pretty much...
Now that Andy joined the team, it pretty much decides which language we're speaking, depending on if he's in the room or not, I guess.
Yeah, he's an
Even
Anglo.
sometimes I keep forgetting that, like, you're there and I'm speaking French and I feel really bad after that. But
Yeah, he's the Anglo-Saxon of the group.
Yeah.
The invading army.
Yeah. We made it in English so it would be like the podcast would be more accessible. I suppose we could make one in French, but that gets to be a lot of work. So, but maybe we'll make a French version eventually.
I
Maybe.
really want to do one in French, but just so we're more comfortable with the language, I guess, a little bit more.
we should just dub this one. Like
Just
have
dub it.
people talk over.
Yeah. Or you know what? A left. In the left channel, it's English, and the right channel, it's French. So you just pick out the one earbud, depending.
Or Andy should just translate everything we say.
Yeah, there you go. Oh, I think that's a great idea.
Do it in French and you just invent stuff in English over what we're
Yeah,
saying.
that's how we make you learn French, but it's just you deducting what it is, no matter what it is. So you will just invent, but you're bound to get a part of it, right?
Yeah, like the...
Exactly.
So Marcel Plix on Twitter asks, what do you think you would be now if you had not started doing art back then? Or programming, or whatever you guys
Happy?
do.
Come on. We're having fun.
I think I've got an idea what I'd be.
Yeah.
Because
Because of that gypsy who sold you that mirror.
because I've been working for so long, there was a time where, like, this is back in 2000, the independent business.
Pre-9/11.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
That's how old. We were working for an independent studio in Ottawa, of all places, and it went belly up. So, and there was no, like, this is 2000. This is like before the industry was what it is today. So I went back to university to study, just get like a quick, easy BA in English and go teach English overseas. That was my plan.
Oh.
And then someone got a job at
So
Game
you'd
Loft.
be unemployed.
Well, most likely. I'd like to think I'd be like married with some Japanese woman and have a family.
Oh God,
That was the plan. But
still is.
yeah, some things don't change. But no, that was my plan. And then I had a friend who got a job interview at Gameloft and only got so far. And he was describing what was involved. And I was thinking, man, that's something I'd like to do. And then he went, yeah, that's something you'd like to do, right? And I was like, yep. And then the rest is history.
I think I would probably be a programmer.
Yeah.
Or like I don't know, some kind of anything related to computers. Because I liked computers. It was my second, like, most important passion, I guess. And that's how, like, Photoshop was, like, the best of the art world and the computer world.
A bit louder.
When I first, started thinking about going into video games, at first I actually thought about being an artist or like an animator or something. So yeah, we should swap or something.
It's like
Maybe swap for a game or
Yeah,
for
I
a
want to see the
jam.
game. We should do that. I think someone made a jam like that once, and it was pretty interesting to see. We should do that.
Yep, definitely.
Yeah. How about you, Andy? What would you be if you were not a programmer?
If I wasn't a programmer, well, I don't know. Like, I guess I'd probably be, I don't know, maybe like a writer or something. I'm not really sure. Because, like, right about the time I was going away to school and stuff, I was, like, figuring all my options. Well, I'm really good at programming, but, like, I really enjoy writing as well. But
Cool. Would you write really technical stuff? Like encyclopedia writer or something?
at the time, it wasn't, like, technical at all. It was just, like, for fun and just kind of like a creative endeavor kind of thing. But I don't know. Somehow I just kind of was like, I feel like getting into, like, game development and, like, programming and stuff. So.
Oh, you might just write the great Canadian novel Yet.
So he'll write like the story of our next game and
Whoa.
In the mix and match game we'll make.
Right.
He'll program, so we're all good.
Unless you want me to, unless the game's going to be like a early WordPress site, I don't know that I can program too much.
Maybe we could print out your code sometime, like in a book.
Oh, just like
No, just
like
just
a 2,000 page
edit it
book.
for to be printed in a book. I don't know. It'd be
And just
funny.
do like page design, so it looks it's all aligned like it looks like a proper book, but when you actually read it, it's just lines of code.
Yeah, exactly.
So, someone on Twitter was talking about maybe putting code on T-shirts, like really awesome code. Just put it on T-shirts. I think that's really brilliant because it's the same as art. It's just like, yeah, that's really good code.
Yeah, but people don't understand that. Like,
You would.
I do, but whenever I put like code on Twitter, everyone's like downvoting me.
Yeah, I remember for Mercenary King, I was posting art on the Tumblr, and at one point you were like grumbling, "Yeah, you can't post code on Tumblr. No one would get it." Like, I'm like, wow, it's too bad that there's not a way that you can really show the work in a concrete way so that everyone could get it the way everyone
weird,
gets
though, 'cause
sketches.
You'd think that there would almost be something like that.
It's probably
There
going to
probably
become
is.
something because everyone's going to be a programmer at some point in the future.
Yeah. When we're robots.
Yeah, we're all going to be that.
Yeah, like in that great movie, Transcendence.
Oh,
As for me, it's funny because I started in art, and all of my career in video game was art, but I was hired here for writing. So I discovered what I would be doing if I was not writing, if I was not drawing. I guess it's writing.
Yeah.
And it's something that I realized backtracking through my own career and stuff like that. Like, I always liked comic books and stuff like that. I realized that learning to draw was trying to find a way to tell stories. Yeah. So I figured I was always a writer. It's just that I thought I was a penciler or an artist for a while.
Nice.
So, and I discovered that like in the last 2 years. So lots of life changes. Mm-hmm. Joachim at Persona asked us, what was your favorite enemy or boss you designed in terms of art or game design? for Mercenary Kings or any other games you might have worked on? Because, well, in game design, Jonathan is not here right now, but art-wise, Stefan, you've designed a couple of monsters or bosses for Mercenary Kings. So do you want one you prefer, one you particularly like, or maybe it's just a character or something you really like about Mercenary Kings you really enjoyed?
I think maybe the most important boss design in Merkings was the exosuit.
The Steel Soldier, yeah.
Steel Soldier, still like that one a lot. And the Mandrakes.
Yeah.
I think the
Oh,
Mandrakes
you invented the Matrix?
Oh, yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
I came up with that brilliant idea that goes back to alchemy.
Yeah.
Times when alchemy was a legit science. But I mean, I don't know. That's it.
That's it.
All of that.
Let's get
Mandrakes are really cool. I just like them. I think they're fun. I had a great time drawing them, and mostly in all that art nobody has seen yet. But that will be
after the
revealed
holidays,
soon.
though. Yeah.
In the art book, I did a bunch of illustration for. I did a bunch of environment illustrations, and I've included mandrakes here and there, and I had a lot of fun finding out how mischievous they were.
Yeah.
We need to put mandrakes in all the games and all the backgrounds somewhere.
It's like our unofficial mascot now.
Yeah, it totally is. Like, there's like 4 of them in the studio.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they actually
Exist physically.
exist physically. So thanks to Kim.
You were gonna say.
Yeah.
It seemed important.
No.
Bosses, yes?
Yeah. No, my favorite boss is actually the one, the dog tank that opens up his butt and like starts shooting rockets from his butt.
Yeah.
That's pretty badass.
Yeah, it's I like that one because it's so non-military realism tough guy. It's first they're tanks in shape of dogs, and then these pooping missiles. That's great.
I think seeing the Violence Kings come to life in a video game was like a big thrill because like we'd all seen them from Kings of Power 4 billion%. It was fun to see it legitimized in an actual video game. So
Sweet.
Yeah.
So I only designed one boss, which was in a match 3 game. But it was just a giant octopus that would kind of go over the grid, to kind of hide the grid. And a lot of players were pissed off at that, but I felt like it was pretty awesome to have a boss that hides a match 3 grid. That's it.
Nice.
man,
Never designed a boss.
You can just cut that out.
No.
Well, that'll probably come on Dom's game. At AltDev asks us, did you guys use Monogame for Scott Pilgrim, or like you did for Mercenary Kings or Wizorb? And also, do you make your own level editor from scratch? So, JF, give the answers AltDev requires, please.
Okay, so there's 2 questions.
Yeah.
The monogame question is simply no. We use this engine that Ubisoft built.
Are you supposed to say that?
Yeah, well...
It's for sale.
Okay.
You can actually buy it.
Nice.
You can buy the engine?
Yeah.
Seriously? Yeah. Oh man, let's do it. It was honestly one of the worst engines I've ever worked with. So don't do that. Like, don't touch it.
Was it really bad in a programming way, or because I know it was maybe too generic, like it was meant to do too much stuff.
Yeah, I think
Like they kept it super generic. But was it really like a bad engine in general, or?
I think they were trying to do a lot of hand-holding in the engine, and it wasn't really tested in a production like level. So things started like blowing up once we started working on an actual game. So it was really a bad idea.
Like it wasn't focused for anything.
Yeah,
But
it
it
tried
was-
to like simplify everyone's lives, but it actually, just dumbed down the work of all the programmers.
It was way too complex for
Yeah, exactly.
the needs of Scott.
Yeah, but then in the end, it was funny because when they wanted to go and like advertise and like potentially sell this thing, Scott Pilgrim became sort of like a poster boy flagship for them because
Oh,
it was
yeah.
like, yeah, it was made with this engine. It was like, it was never meant to.
But it was so ridiculous. Like, you just wanted to open a level, and it would take like 20 minutes to
Look,
load.
20 minutes. when we get John on the podcast, he was talking about some of the horror stories of like,
Yeah.
he would like open a level at the start of his day and then hope maybe at some point.
It wouldn't crash.
Yeah, really.
Towards the end, he was running two computers, and he would start a build on one, go input some values in the other one, and like half an hour would pass, and he would go back, and maybe it would have finished compiling, and he could test stuff.
Yeah, you really want to think twice before you close a level because you're like, maybe I'm gonna need it in the next 30 seconds.
Actually, a lot of things in Scott are just.
Held together with.
But I mean, they're just like a hypothesis. Like
Oh,
it should be like in relation to all the others numbers I input. It should work.
Yeah.
it's like all theoretical.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it's almost quantum game. Like
Yeah,
unless as you observe it, it changes.
Like there might be someone who's gonna like fully play test that game and discover some weird wormhole. It's just like, oh well.
Yeah, maybe there was another game inside the game that like they shipped with the engine and we're just not aware of it.
Yeah, maybe. Have to hope
It's
so.
like a
but-
real 3D heavy game
Yeah.
Yeah.
hidden.
And the other question was
Mono games.
for
did you make your own level editor from scratch?
Yeah. So since we started Trivia Games, we did our own engine in Mono Game, and then we built our own tools and level editor and all that
Called
stuff.
the Paris editor,
Paris editor.
named after the great French city.
Exactly.
Paris Hilton.
The great French city, Paris Hilton.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And if you enjoyed those little bit of stories about Scott Pilgrim, like in next year in 2015, because a lot of us here at the company, not me, my boss at the company, I'm looking at Dom because he didn't work on it either. A lot of people here did work on Scott Pilgrim, so eventually we'll have like a big episode or either like a series of episodes talking about how that game got made, because it's partly responsible for how that company here came about. So
Yeah, it was quite the saga.
yeah, there's international intrigue, fun engines.
Yeah.
There might have been murder. We'll find out in 2015.
Yeah, what do you call that when enough time has passed on a crime where
A statute of limitations.
the statute of limitations is up on that, where
On Scott
we
Pilgrim.
can,
Really talk about it.
yeah, the fully exposed, no holds barred tell
Well, it's
all.
been 5 years, so
Yeah,
it's
exactly.
like a nice
5 years.
nice
5-year
year.
anniversary.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good one.
Jeez,
Yeah,
time flies by.
it certainly does.
Oh, I've got another question from Eric Mahler, who's also a podcaster. He does the Mr. Mom podcast, which is pretty cool.
Is it about the great Hulk Hogan movie?
No, it's about the
Okay.
life of a stay-at-home dad.
Okay. No, Mr. Mom's another movie. It's not about Hulk Hogan. Sorry.
Anyway,
I think Michael Keaton's in that.
Yes, that's a Michael Keaton movie. Of course, we always mix the Hulk story and Keaton.
they're practically the same.
Yeah.
person.
Yeah.
Totally. So his question is pretty good. It's is there a type of game you've wanted to make but haven't been able to yet?
Yes, I actually have an answer for that.
Yeah.
Twice in my career, the chance of doing a top-down, like, isometric car game has eluded me. In that same company we started in Ottawa, called Buzzcut Entertainment, now defunct, for 15 years.
That's a weird name. Buzzcut Entertainment, now defunct.
Well, you know why they the full name. Our bosses had Buzzcuts, and that's
Okay.
how they named it. And this was
That's
actually
probably why it's defunct.
amongst other things. But no, that was a good times. That was an offshoot of Artec, which I think is also now defunct. One of the last standing video game companies.
Go back to
in
the
Ottawa.
question, Justin. Go back to the
Sorry.
question.
Yeah, reel me back.
Come back.
So yeah, we were going to make a car game there called Unleaded. And then back at Gameloft, we were supposed to make a top-down racing, more rally-style game called High Gears, which John was designing. So twice it's eluded me, and I feel like I've got unfinished business with the top-down car game genre.
How about you guys? Any type of game you have never had a chance to tackle? Well, I didn't make that much game, so a lot of a lot of them. Yeah. Well, I've always wanted to do a roguelike.
Hey!
So that's good. We should actually cancel that game.
Yeah.
I don't think it's.
I'm still waiting
Yeah.
that we're like further down the road.
Yeah.
Hey, your dream?
You want to break it. Yeah, you want to break it properly. That's good.
This has all been a scheme to just break your spirit.
Break you in. Otherwise, I've always wanted to do like an actual exploration game, like just all about exploration, but I haven't figured it out yet. So someday maybe. How about you, Yannick? Want to do the next adventure game?
Yes, I would like that because it's entirely writing. I would like to be involved into the first good Superman game.
Oh.
And I've almost been. It's one of the great heartbreaks of my career. And I consulted on a pitch on a Superman game, and I was thrilled, and it could have been pretty cool. So there's that. And for me, it's I don't have as much I like video games, but I don't have the desire to get into the guts and really game design a specific games. But I have like more like art directions or worlds or ideas that I'd like to see in a game. Like I'd love to have some sort of game. I don't know what it looks like, but to be like the 60s series, like The Prisoner, like the weird, absurdist, paranoid 60s vibe. So I have ideas for, I wish.
Steph was gesturing like you and me.
So like stuff like a game
prison.
in a world of a prisoner.
You and me in a big bubble.
In a big bubble, like being smothered by it, but like, this is great. So it's stuff like, I have ideas for worlds and type of environments or art directions that we don't see in video games or in modern video game landscapes because the bigger games tend to look a certain way.
Yeah.
So those are more my ideas. I don't have a specific like
Genre, more themes.
yeah, exactly, or just more looks like for a while, like we can see it because we've been in it for Mercenary Kings, like so many 80s exploitative, crazy, over-the-top action teams. Like that's been like almost a cliche. Like for the last 5 years, there's always like different versions of that, and a lot of people did different riffs. So for me, I'd be really interested in finding the other cool genre or types that have not been interpreted in games yet, and make that fit over a game design idea someone has, or try to reverse engineer a game out of those.
Sounds good. What about you, Jeff?
You know what? I think I'll cheat. I think I'd like to have a second go at another Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles game. Like, I feel like we didn't get the chance to really knock it out of the park like we wish we could have.
So just so people know, you've worked on a TMNT game before, right?
Yeah, exactly.
The animated CGI movie that there was like a couple of years ago, like that was called TMNT. You've worked on that game on at Ubisoft. Yeah,
the Game Boy Advance version, like not the other ones that were forgettable.
Oh, you mean the one that had good reviews?
Yeah.
That the others piggybacked off of, mind you.
But since it was on Game Boy Advance, we were really limited with
budget
and a bunch of stuff. So we had to cut like really early the multiplayer aspect of the game, which like for a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles game, you kind of need to have co-op. So I want another chance.
You would try it again and make it 10 times better now.
It'll be the best Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles game ever.
10 times at least.
Yeah, so Nickelodeon, we're just going to leave that on the table.
Yeah.
If you're interested.
Who has the rights for TMNT now? Way Forward?
I thought it wasn't. Oh, no, they did the last version of it, so I don't know if they have the... Yeah.
Someone just had the rights.
It was Activision, I think, and then Way Forward.
But you, Andy.
Yeah, so I guess I've always kind of had a bunch of ideas that I've wanted to do and haven't done.
Yeah. Any genre you want to spoil for us?
Okay, so I guess, like, I've always wanted to make kind of like an exploration side-scroller Metroidvania kind of game. But with the twist that rather than having your abilities like tied to you throughout the entire game, they like have kind of an area where you have that power.
Don't say anymore.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. But like, it would be like kind of a weird like radio tuning kind of thing. I'm not really sure.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. The last question we have is Scott Pilgrim related, which is about like the influences on the game. So maybe you guys have answers about that, or maybe Stefan, you have like art answers about it, about like what inspired your work on Scott Pilgrim, like the backgrounds and stuff like that you worked on.
Well, I mean, the books.
Yeah.
But there wasn't. I tried to put as much from the books as I could and expand on that. But then it got to a point where we had so little time that I think, and it also became really personal. Like I've included a lot of reference to things I had done prior to the project, and so it was just we had so little time that I was just rushing.
Just rushing and vomiting your insides. Art-wise.
First shot for everything. So
came out great.
Yeah, thanks. It was super fun to make, and it was certainly a real challenge. And I think I learned a lot, and I probably grew a lot from that also. Like it was
you were 5 feet tall. 5 feet tall before this game.
Yeah, well, it was the first time I took on so much work in so little time. Like that, the scale of the whole thing. That was the biggest I've ever tackled. Like after that, I did Merkings. Like it was a fart. So
We'll go more in detail in our Scott Pilgrim Spectacular in 2015. And I think we'll close out that episode right now because we have not talked about what we've played recently, but next week on our next episode, not only it's going to be the year-end spectacular. Mm-hmm. So we'll talk about our favorite things from 2014. Carl's going to be back.
The return
of Carl, and that's going to be great. And so that's going to be it for this week. Thanks everyone for listening. And guys, where can we find you on the internet? If someone is really captivated by what they heard, where they can get more of you? Dom, where can they?
Are you done with your question? At Dom2D on Twitter and all that.
Yeah, Justin_Cyr, CYR.
JGS Boutin. You can just search that, find stuff.
Wow. How do we search on Twitter?
Oh boy.
You can try that.
Okay.
Maybe it works. I don't know. I don't know anything about Twitter.
JF Major with a 0 on Twitter.
All right. I'm Eggboy Color on Twitter.
You can find me at Yannick Belzil, and you can find Tribute Games at Tribute Games. And if you have anything, you can find us on Facebook as well. And if you have any questions, and if you want to send us questions through non-Twitter or anything like that, you can write us at info@tributegames.com. So, thanks for listening to us. Please come back next week. We'll talk about our favorite things from 2014. Yeah, that's it. So, have a good week.
Yay!
Weekend.
Yeah, and weekend as well. Have a good week. Have a good weekend.
Have a good life.
year.
Good Christmas.
Everything. Facebook, go facebook.com/Curses and Chaos. Go like it, because that's where you can get exclusives about Curses and Chaos. And have a good weekend.
Eat some stew on my behalf.
Yeah, have some stew. Have a good holiday stew.